Hello to everyone. Hello. It's so nice to see all of you. It is amazing. It is amazing opportunity we have. And I'm happy to see today you and to talk about reading because I'm trying to read in English more often, especially last days. And I want to talk to you with you about reading. How do you like reading? Maybe how you do not like reading, and maybe your favorite books. What kind of books do you like to read? And we already talked about this. But we didn't have a separate live stream for this topic because um, I don't know why. And today, because I'm still trying to read Harry Potter book, I don't know, it is taking for me a lot of time. Maybe in future, step by step, I will somehow finish and will read faster. But all my life, I was struggling with reading in some ways. I was struggling with reading because I cannot, example, read silently. I mean, I can do this, but as a result, my concentration will be not so focused. And I usually reading out loud, and I'm pronouncing every word, and it's helping me somehow to understand meaning of every words which I am reading. And it would be nice to know your opinion. How do you read? How how do you read? I mean, like I am trying to put the right emphasis. Anyway, for me it would be nice to know your way of reading, and I see your messages, and it is nice to see you. Last one. Hello to you. Hello to Amy. So cool to see, and of course, hello to Thomas Lee and Lisa Marshall. It's so nice to see all of you. And yes, I have troubles. I have troubles with reading every time, and the fact that I'm reading slowly, I was having like sometimes it's not like I was not proud of this moment that I'm reading slowly. And today I want to watch with you a video where one girl she will talk about slow reading. I want to understand with her about like what does it mean to read slow. This channel is named Demi Lee, and we will try to understand. And this video, obviously, by name of our live stream, you can understand how it's named. How slow reading can change your brain. Uh, Personally, like it before we will start watching, I want to share with my opinion, and I don't know. Uh, Slow reading always helping me to understand better material which I'm reading about, to understand better topic, and to fully understand. Usually, if I do not understand a paragraph, if I do not understand something, or I'm focused, I'm troubled, as a result, I cannot continue reading because I'm not understanding. Because sometimes, if I've read, example, 2 pages, but my mind was flying somewhere. As a result, what I am doing? What am I doing? I'm can you imagine? You are reading, like, I'm reading Harry Potter. Then I'm like, okay, I'm realizing that already 2 pages. I'm not understanding something. What I'm doing? I'm stopping, and I'm rereading these pages again. And at this moment, the second time, I'm trying to be focused on what I'm reading about. It doesn't matter what text I'm reading about. It's always happening with me because I do not feel like results point of this reading. If like, and as a result, I'm reading slowly, very slowly. And yes, hello Sam Smith Q. And I received also, I wanted to share with you some things. Right now it's happened like 10 minutes ago, before our live stream. I want to open these things, and I know I have suggestion. This thing is from Bill, Richard, and Winter. Stay warm, Alex. And I know what is inside because you. Wow, it smells nice. It is for ears. Ear stuff. Judy What? It is for ears, and they can help you to keep your ears warm. Example, you can hide them, and example, every time when you're walking outside, you can close your ears like this. Wow. Thank you. I cannot hear. Maybe it is good also for going to sleep sometimes. Wow. Thank you. Thank you a lot for this thing. It is convenient. And it is a warm thing to have. And yes, reading out loud always was helping me to understand better. And it's a way how I was studying English always. Example, it was helping me somehow. Whoa, look at this. It is another present from Sam Smith Q. And this book is smaller than I have now. Gin Lee, second edition. Yes, because I have another book from my TSI. Thank you, of course, Sam Smith Q. I'm comparing, and today I was a little bit already studying. Wow. Yes, this one I have. It was bought for me by Heather. And I immediately want to look for context before and compare this context. Rational. Yes, it is. Thank you a lot for these books because that's what I was thinking about. Differences. Big differences because more, how would say, different points, different topics can be here in these books, and it's all about TSA class because in future we will do this to do this studying. And yes, at this moment, Alex, just give yourself time. Even we first language English speakers can read slowly. To be honest, one of the things, I cannot read fast. It's my experience showed me that I can do this only slowly. And it's the way how I always was. I'm understanding it now. I was thinking about this even years before. Let's be honest. Like when I was a student, I was thinking like, for me to understand better program, I needed just time. I was doing this slowly. I was pronouncing everything or maybe listening everything what I was studying, topic, example, or lecture. And it's same like example with listening. I like to re-listen things, sometimes for better understanding. And the same with slow reading. And yes, I see hello to you, Brenda Snow. The best teacher is your own self. Yeah, it is. It is. It is best, of course, to be yourself and like to learn in your own pace. And I looked, to be honest, what does it mean, slow reading? I looked this definition, and we can happily, or maybe not happily, it depends, see what does it mean, slow reading. And then I'm started to understand, because I look how people doing this, and differently. And if we will look in Wikipedia, slow reading is the intentional reduction in the speed of reading, carried out to increase comprehension or pleasure. And in my situation, it was more about understanding, and it means about more comprehension. Example, when I was started to study English, how I was doing this thing. I was reading small tales, and I was reading them out loud. Pretty often on YouTube you can find stories, short stories, and you can listen them and repeat them. And yes, I see your message. Hello to you, Jamie Dreams, and you said, Alex, quality reading is better than quantity reading. Yeah, and here we can see, I completely agree with you. But pretty often people who is reading fast, they can, how would say, they understanding these topics pretty often pretty well. And I cannot, by reading fast, to understand topic at all. And I read, like, example, we can find fast reading. It is like when we are comparing, you can understand differences. It is speed reading. In the speed reading or fast reading is the process of rapidly recognizing and absorbing phrases or sentences on a page all at once, rather than identifying individual words. And here I'm thinking immediately about slow reading. When you're reading slowly, you comprehending word by word. In my situation, that's what I'm doing every time. Example, if I'm reading Harry Potter, every time, like on the top of this, I have problem with pronunciation, and because pretty often here words which I have in Harry Potter book, they are just unknown for me, at least. Maybe they are, like, I believe that for people who is native speaker, who is native language is English, and I believe that when people have the example made up words, they created this word by itself, they by intuition know how to pronounce this word correctly. In my situation, I do not have such intuition. I can suggest, but pretty often my suggestion is wrong. As a result, pretty often I am increasing my accent. I'm increasing my made up pronunciation, self made up, because it is just impossible to, to check every word while you're reading in English. Like, to translate every word. It's just, at this moment, reading will become boring. It will be not so entertaining if you will check like every word which created this Joan Rowling, her name, Joanna Rowling, I don't know. Yes, who wrote these Harry Potter books. And yes, she created a lot, and the result, like, it's just impossible. And that's why I want to try to understand today with you a little bit more about reading. Yes, and I'm happy to see all of you who joined now. And before we will start watching video, you can support me by leaving like and leaving your comments about this topic or other. How do you feel it is? It will be nice. And yes, let's look this video. As I said before, this video from channel Demi Lee, and it was made 1 year ago. How slow reading can change your brain. And I may be trying in some way to justify my actions. Pretty often, the way how you're doing things after some time, you are thinking that, what if I'm doing something wrong? What if I'm wrong about my methods? Or maybe, what if I'm mistaken? As a result, I am like asking myself questions. Alex, look some video. Are you wrong or not? And maybe after some time I will, after watching this video, I will say to myself, okay, Alex, you're doing everything is okay. And to be honest, deep inside, maybe I already have answer for myself, but nevertheless, let's find out together. And yes, Alex, it is message from Sam Smith Q. Now you see why my mother tongue is difficult to learn. I had an easier time learning Russian. Yeah, and thank you for this message, Sam Smith Q. I believe that pretty often some people have more abilities, some people more talented than others, and I would not say that I have any specific talent, only patience helping me sometimes. And that's like by time, I'm trying to use time, maybe that's why. And hello C, K, C and J, you have amazing nickname. Also because Alex, no, it's not Alex, it's also, like you saw right now, I read this Alex and like, because maybe AL, and as a result I'm repeating, like that's always what is happening with me while I'm reading. If I say something wrong, I'm usually trying to reread this from the beginning. Because maybe it's how I was studying English. Anyway, also because you're working on your English, reading slow and reading out loud is important. And I was doing this for years. For years from the first day how I started to study English, because soon will be already, or maybe already, I'm studying English as 4 years. And it is fascinating, it's what I like, and it is amazing, really amazing experience, what can I tell. And yes, before we will start watching video, I want to remind you, you can leave your like, leave your comments, it would be nice. You can prepare tea like Alex prepared. I'm talking about myself from distance, 2 cups of tea. Yes, and I have even water in front of me. And I believe that soon I will receive camera. I hope that I will receive soon this camera, and you will be able to see those who will be member of our channels. Alex Live. Alex Live, no. Gosh. Anyway, we will think about this a little bit later. Not Alex Live, maybe my English world. Anyway, we will look. I'm thinking, sorry. Alex, avoid overthinking and overanalyzing this bastard language. Sometimes it's not so easy to avoid this, because if you have some thoughts and like trying to understand this, like why it is happening like this with me, because I'm reading slowly, others reading like much faster. And yes, let's jump into this topic, and you can support me and buy me a coffee, it would be nice. And let's go. Hello Thomas Lee, to you too. I love this music. I love this music.
We live in a world of speed, saturated with information, where everyone is trying to absorb as much information as possible, as fast as possible. But how does that impact our brains, our culture, and the architecture that supports learning? I explore this phenomenon during my architectural thesis, which I'm trying to turn into a video series. If you want the whole picture of the project, you can find the playlist right here.
I did not see anyway. Oh, I see.
With this explosion of information, we're adapting our reading habits to consume as much as possible in as little time as possible. As an architect, I have to say I speed read a lot, but when it comes to books that's had a big impact on my life, my preference has always been to read slowly.
And it makes sense. Everything what she said already, I feel that it makes sense. Example, example, if we are talking about social media, sometimes sitting hour in social media, watching, example, Instagram, VK, YouTube, if you're watching short videos, you feel somehow connection with the world outside you. And you feel this connection from different angles, and this connection feels sometimes, I would say, more real, and it's a connection helping you to understand like everything from different angles. In my situation, example, 1 hour in Instagram, I'm like, okay, I know I can understand already just by stories what is happening. Example, in Russia, I can understand, example, what is happening in the USA, in other countries. As a result, I can have already some kind of opinion about like, oh wow, we have this, that are they still talking about, just by searching on the Instagram, on any social media anyway. But when you're reading, for me, any book, she said for her research she's using fast reading, but for me it doesn't work for every book. Like every book I'm reading slowly. And how can she do researches without with slow reading? With fast reading? I have no understanding. When you need to consume maybe a lot of information. Anyway, maybe like Sam Smith Q said, I'm overthinking.
As my life gets busier, I really started to wonder, is this a waste of time? Am I really using my time and energy to its full maximum capacity?
Northeastern is empowering me to make an impact in environmental policy.
I'm using right now Alex Life, and I still didn't change place in settings of my country, of channel. And as a result, I cannot pay for to remove these advertisements. But already Lisa Marshall gave money for this. Thank you for removing advertisement.
One of the key things that I've learned about speed reading is to look at the first and last word of the sentence. And once you do this for an entire paragraph, you can get a gist of what the paragraph is saying. And if you practice this for long enough, you're going to be able to do this naturally. I typically read for about half an hour before I go to bed. And so I wanted to see what would happen if I tried speed reading for 30 days. The first record of silent reading, or reading as we know it, appears in the 5th century document, Augustine's Confessions.
What? I looked in Wikipedia, slow reading, and I was reading here the earliest reference to slow reading appears to be in Nietzsche's preface to the 1887 Daybreak. And we can see, it is not for nothing that one has been a philologist. Perhaps one is a philologist still, that is to say, a teacher of slow reading. Anyway. 1887, but obviously maybe Wikipedia not covering this well topic, because always relying on Wikipedia, it is not okay. And I believe you because people were using these methods even before. I mean, like, people could write, read them, and as a result, if it was always with not always, but a long time, thousands years with people, it means that they were talking about this topic. Yes. Oh, thank you, Sam Smith Q. Oh, I see your message, and remember, we are impressed with how your English has improved, considering that you started self-study without access to first language English speakers, and English, thanks to its nonsensicalities. Wow, new word for me. And again, I do not have any idea what does it mean, nonsensicalities. And yes, slow reading, it is my method.
St. Augustine is incredibly impressed at the mysterious reading habits of Ambrose, the Bishop of Milan. He says, his eyes traveled across the pages and his heart searched out the meaning, but his voice and tongue stayed still.
He saw example or picture.
This is because the practice of silent reading was a totally foreign concept in the Dark Ages. According to Paul Sanger, texts were read aloud because they were written in scriptura continua, which made it almost impossible for people to read without sounding out the syllables.
This whisper or murmuring you can hear like in the library, and people like, wow. Hello to Misty McLean, hello, happy to see you, and hello to Wildcat, nice to see you too. And yes, leave your comments, how do you read? And by the way, I like this it is church, or maybe it is what it's museum, whatever it is on the screen. I like what I see, and it looks quite fascinating, and it looks like it is a library inside. Is it?
So why did Bishop Ambrose spend so much of his time and his energy practicing silent reading? And how did it become the normal way of reading? In the 12th century, something crazy happened. They invented punctuation. Before silent reading, reading with
punctuation. I know example about punctuation, one interesting thing. Yes, I will stop sometimes. It doesn't mean like that I know a lot, but I know one thing about punctuation. That example, in Chinese language, they didn't have punctuation at all. As a result, I have example in front of me, book. Yes, I have book. Yeah, and this is about basic Chinese. Ta-da. And but I heard
To
this.
do that, you'll need to turn off airplane mode.
Wow, thank you. Yes, Siri is talking with me. Anyway, but I somewhere heard about Chinese that in they didn't have punctuation at all for during like centuries, 1,000 years. And what I found out that it said in some video, somebody said that English had influence on China, Chinese language. As a result, they gave punctuation to Chinese. And before, they didn't use these dots, they didn't use anything like that. And I'm like, wow, because the way how Chinese is structured, you can see that it was like pictures, symbolized something. and that's how characters was created. People can see pictures or characters, like they see these characters, and there was no any idea about punctuation at the beginning, because like why, if you like example tree, it is like tree, and like Jean, it is like a man, and you're like wow. It is an interesting thing that she mentioned this. And example, I see message, your message, Lisa, Alex. It is Jamie Dreams. Thank you. The nonsensicality is the plural for nonsensical, which means things that makes no sense. I know word nonsense, like it is nonsense, I can say this, but nonsensicality, I just which means things that make no sense, like he was reading nonsensical words. Oops. Yes. What I wanted to tell you. For me, sometimes English can be nonsensical. Okay, what I was talking about? I was talking about, let's go to jump into video. And yes, punctuation, it is interesting thing that in some languages you will not find punctuation at all. Yes, until some period of time. Yeah. One moment. Where's it's here.
Was a communal activity, meaning sharing a commonly accepted idea was more important than having individual thoughts. But with changes in punctuation, more and more people started reading silently in private. People started reading for pleasure or to feed their personal curiosities, which led to cultural changes all over the world. For Ambrose, reading silently meant that it was a solitary act. He could create an unregulated, undistracted relationship between himself and the words. This is
Interesting, like she said, it is undistracted relationships between himself and the words, or like book. For me, again, I'm always talking from my point of view experience. When you're pronouncing, you somehow making it more real, like this text, you're making this more real, and pronunciation of these words can help you to have better connection, because of course I got her idea what she was talking about, that reading silently you have shorter way, you don't need to say this loud, you have immediately connection. But I try it to read silently. It didn't work for me. Interesting for you. Did you try by yourself to do this or not? Or maybe it was not working for you.
This is Alberto Mangual, the author, talking about the first time he's ever experienced reading. He says, "It was like acquiring an entirely new sense, so that now certain things no longer consisted merely of what my eyes could see, my ears could hear, my tongue could taste, my nose could smell, my fingers could feel, but what my whole body could decipher, translate, give voice to, read." Reading is a complex activity, and our understanding of how it works is still pretty bleak. However, most studies seem to agree on the fact that reading entails at least two stages: seeing the word and considering it by reconstructing the code of signs through a chain of connections in the brain. And then, depending on who we are, we decipher the text with emotion, physical sentience, intuition, knowledge, or soul. In some ways, it's kind of like experiencing space. It's not just our visual senses, but it incorporates memory and the core of our being.
and here about core of your being example. Pretty often when people are talking about hello, by the way, to you, Lindsay, and hello to you, Lauren Prasnevsky. Yes, I'm happy to see you, Lauren Prasnevsky, and you, Lindsay. And one of the things when she said that it is core of your human being when you're reading, and the fact that pretty often people like you can find thousands, hundreds languages which were existing on this earth, and I was watching today video about languages, and it was interesting for me to find out that people identify themselves with this language. For people, difficult to separate yourself from this language itself, because how can you do this if you like how you can separate yourself from example Russian, how you can separate yourself from English. But pretty often, and interesting thing, like you identify your thoughts and your human being with this language itself. Like when you're reading this, if you know example this language, only one. And as a result, studying English helping me to understand a little bit different from this angle. It's just I'm not only this language, I'm also just human being which is capable to understand other languages. I don't know, it is stupid idea, maybe something what I'm telling make no sense for you. I just was trying to transfer my thoughts to you, but it is thing that I was thinking even before when I was started to study English, and I'm like, wow. It is fascinating that example, if I will start to study Chinese, how you feel example better to read in Chinese, how you feel, or maybe if you start studying Russian or Spanish, how you feel better when you're reading this language, silently or out loud, how you feel better. That's one of the things. And example, pretty often I've heard that you can find advice from teachers to pronounce this out loud, when you're reading new words. But one of the thing that you can, as I did, you can create a lot of mistakes, and you can create non-intentionally your own pronunciation or accent, and it will be more difficult in future to read all these terrible pronunciation. Example, when I'm reading, as I said before, in Harry Potter, it is in English, it is not my native language. As a result, I'm reading new words, which was created by this Rowling, by this author. And as a result, I'm pronouncing this, and I'm like, wow, I have no idea how to pronounce this. I hope that it makes sense, everything what I'm talking about. And as a result, when you repeating this again and again, example, there was the word Horcrux. Horcrux. What does it mean, Horcrux? I never heard this word before. Horcrux. First time, if I'm meeting this word once, I can pronounce, I will not care about pronunciation, correct pronunciation. But then I started to meet this word again and again. Horcrux, it is I started to think about what is correct pronunciation of this word, and when I looked on Google, helped me translate, and it is like I said, Horcrux, if I hope I'm right. And the most interesting thing that but first I was pronouncing this Horcrux or Horcruxes, something like this. If it was, yeah. And Horcrux example in Harry Potter, it is a thin metal example locket where Voldemort put his soul, part of his soul. He separated his soul on 7 different parts, and every time he was putting his soul in some object. Example to the Tom Riddle book, not book anyway, and or maybe locket, which was wearing Hermione, Harry Potter and Ron. And yes, I didn't know how to pronounce this word, and I'm like, wow, it is like interesting. Yeah, interesting how you like to do this. And yes, I see message your Mandarin Chinese, Jamie Dreams. Yes, I didn't start to study yet. I have so many things to do. And what I need, yes, I see you like Alex or Thomas Lee. It is. I know only couple like what I need. It's something like this. My pronunciation obviously is terrible, but I always wanted to know Chinese. Maybe I will be able one day to start this and to do this a little bit slowly, at least somehow. And yes, yes, it is quite fascinating. And Harry Potter has a lot of names and words which are made up by the author, and that's what I'm talking about. And as a result, when I'm pronouncing words from Harry Potter, I feel that disconnection between myself, and because I feel that I'm something missing. Sometimes, well, especially if these words repeating again, if I do not know well correct pronunciation, it can be sometimes a little bit annoying. Example, when you first time meeting Horcrux, you're like just making your pronunciation just from made up pronunciation. You do not care. You thinking that okay, it will be now once and that's all. But example spells, example Confringo. I was playing Harry Potter Legacy on PS5, and I was playing it and I've heard how to pronounce this, Confringo. And example, I've heard these spellings when they're using this in Harry Potter, like Protago. And I was sometimes doing this in Harry Potter game just to hear pronunciation again and again. Because how I'm doing, I'm reading one book, then watching a movie. While reading second book, then watching a movie. I will read 7th book and will watch 2 movies. It's beneficial part of reading book number 7. Anyway, it is interesting thing, and I think it is fascinating, and I completely agree with you that it is helping. Anyway, for me it is helpful to read out loud, and sometimes I think disconnection, if I it can be annoying, not annoying, but you you will be a little bit example, if I'm reading loud, if I do not know pronunciation, this word which I do not know how to pronounce correctly, I will pronounce more silently. Example, I do not know how to pronounce Confringo, and I will read Hermione scream, example, Hermione with him as it no. The snake lunged as he took a running leap, dragging Hermione with him as it struck. Hermione screamed, Confringo. Example, if I do not know pronunciation. And I will, when I do not know well pronunciation, I am pronouncing this more silently. And it was always happening with me. And I saw, like, example, one Russian guy or American guy. He was working in Russia, and he was doing video. He's kind of YouTuber, and he was talking in Russian, and when he was passing by Russians, he was talking more silently. And one of the thing, I believe that it is fear that people will judge you. Maybe, I don't know, or maybe fear to be misunderstood. I did do this the same every time. I do not like to talk in English pretty often in front of other people, because number one, I'm introvert, but number two, also I do mistakes in pronunciation, and pretty often when I'm ordering, example, something, there are a lot of self-made words, like they make no sense. Like, can I have, example, sandwich, and this name of this sandwich, like, it's kind of like ridiculous. Who, like, made up words, and you like looking at this, and you don't know how to pronounce this, and I'm like, can you give me and I'm reading this like awkwardly. That's happening with me here, and I believe it will happen quite long time. Okay, let's continue.
Meet the Veil Intelligent Toilet. It's not just about automation. It's about effortless convenience.
Toilet. I love music.
So this is my old high school. I have very fond memories here. This is where we used to eat lunch and wait for our moms to pick us up. This is where we used to play stupid games. And the sun's not out today, but if you sit here at noon when it's a sunny day, you can get the sun on your body and the shade will be perfectly on your face. If I ever went to another place that had concrete steps like this and a little overhang just like this, and the sun's on my body just in this right way, then I would have all of these memories of me sitting here eating lunch and hanging with my friends. It wouldn't just be a simple concrete step anymore. These personal experiences are a part of you, and anywhere you go, that experience of that place is unique to you and you only. And I don't know, I think that's just a really nice idea. Both reading and experiencing space are a very complex process of understanding the world. So when we experience things slowly, we're essentially giving our minds more time to create these connections, which increases pleasure and comprehension, and it increases the chances of you being transformed by the book or the experience. This is the core idea behind the slow movement. Whether it's the slow food movement or the slow looking movement or the slow reading movement. You know, it's not really about doing things as slowly as possible, and it's not even really about speed. It's about regaining the quality of the experience that we lose in the process of speeding up.
Yeah.
What's a little concerning?
Yes, it is what you said before. When you're speeding, you can miss something. And example, if you're learning, if you're missing example, you're going to the school. And when you're going to the school, if you miss couple lessons, you will not understand next topic. And with me, example, if I will miss couple pages when I'm reading Harry Potter, I can misunderstand, or maybe I will miss something, and I will feel this gap. Example, if you will skip one page, and I will read this page, and I see message, Brenda, my English is slow. I got it. Oh my god, you're funny. My English is slow. That's what I'm talking already hour about. How slow my English. Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm taking like 1 hour, like how slow I'm reading. But it is true. Anyway. Yes, it was fun. And the way I already even forget about after this what I was talking about. You can miss something. You can miss and this missing can impact on your like program example at school in future, and example if I will study at school and I will miss couple lessons, I will not understand next I would say topic. And same with Harry Potter. If I will miss one page, I will not understand maybe next chapter, or like maybe on this page was key elements of like key events which kind of important to know on in the next chapter. And this result, fast speeding when you're reading, when I'm reading at least in English, I cannot do this because I can misunderstand a lot of things, and as a result just it will be bad connection with book itself.
Is that this new culture of speed and this new method of reading is starting to be made permanent through our architecture. Throughout history, libraries have been reactive to new reading trends. Even today, lots of existing libraries are renovating their spaces to suit this new method of reading. The library project that I'm working on right now, which is actually going into construction next month, is getting rid of their book storage spaces to make room for an innovation lab and open reading spaces and other public services. OMA's Seattle Central Library is probably one of the finest examples of this new vision for the contemporary library. It's designed to be a community hub with different programs for the community and spaces for people to work on their laptops.
Wow.
At Full Sail, our technology programs are designed with a different approach to learning. We let our students get hands-on and start creating. They're
I got it.
Despite all of these new functions, it's hard to find a space for complete focus in these grand reading spaces. According to the architect, there's an inner layer of perforation that deflects and diffuses sunlight, but
one of the things, when we are talking about architecture, I didn't think that here they will talk about architecture, how can it impact on quality of your reading and maybe quality of your understanding and gaining information while you're reading. Example, if you will look how looks Russian libraries, maybe we will be able to look at them. And usually it is spaces example I will show you library in my city of Lizavosk. Will I be able? Oh no, because it's forbidden. It is forbidden to go to a library. VPN. Don't go to library. At least here, like it is because maybe website. Yes, they're forbidden to do a lot of things right now in YouTube or Google. I don't know, because of sanctions. Have no idea. In Arsenyev maybe. We will look. Same Oh, yes, in Arsenif we can open, maybe we will be able how it looks inside. Ah, yes, yes. You like how looks usual library in Arsenif. Ah, I cannot make this because I was living in Arsenif too. Yes. They do not have so many walls here. Like they have only this little hall, and like it is not big library to be honest. But maybe we will be able to look in Vladivostok. Vladivostok. Because majority of libraries they look like Soviet libraries. They're small, they do not have what I was trying to show you. Even if you will look in library of Arsenyev, it is ordinary architecture in Soviet building usually. They have this, but ceilings not so high. It is even less than in some houses, like it's usually 2.5 meters, like no more, not 3 meters at all. It is maximum 2.5 meters, like ceilings, ordinary, even not 3 meters. That's why I don't know. Maybe for some people it will be like a little bit shocking. And here she was showing this library. Like they're too thinking about light, and they're thinking how light can impact on your concentration. Can you imagine differences? And it is a very fascinating thing. And to be honest, I can imagine that there can be echo. Like even on the other corner person is reading, you are sitting, like example here already have books, they have these walls, I see walls, how it's named, and they have their places to sit and read somehow. And but sound can somehow to have trajectory, and you can hear echo. It sounds like this. One moment, I received something. Yes, it is fascinating. Anyway, I don't know. I know that here in Houston, I was walking in the library, and it looks so gorgeous, so delicious. Maybe I should go there more often because this library looks amazing. Maybe we will look here, Houston Library. Example, Houston Public Library. I want to see photos. To be honest, I have so many books here right now to read because you're sending me books and I'm reading them. You can even choose language, English or French, Dutch, Korean, Spanish. Others I do not know. What is this? Chinese probably. Yes. Italiano. No, others I do not know. Wow, so many languages. And I do not see photos. Here, images. Yeah, this one. Probably I was in this library. Yes, I was in this library probably. Look at this. Amazing picture. And it is like to read there, I believe that to spend that time, like you will feel yourself like in Hogwarts. Yes, I was in this library. Yes. Is it? Probably this. And to read there, you will feel yourself like in Hogwarts, and information, probably while you're reading, you will look differently because of atmosphere. And I think that atmosphere make sense, like can change your attitude towards reading, could change your like way of doing this. It can become more important. It will be not just task, it will be like, well, I need to read, like task. It can be event. It can be something that you will love to do, and do not look at this as a task, but look at this like as something more personal and something more. You will be more intrigued every time to go to this library example and to read there because of this atmosphere which this library is given to you. But in my situation, because I'm reading out loud, I think that going to these places and reading there will be a little bit disturbing for others. And yes, something happened. Okay, I didn't. Just not following all messages in our chat. Okay, let's go. You wishing good luck to Sergey. He's doing something new, as always. Yeah. Oh, hello, Polly from Michigan. Happy to see you. And everything is amazing, Polly. Everything is amazing. Trying to understand what does it mean reading and how to do this correctly. I mean, like, why not?
It still seems to introduce direct sunlight, which creates uneven lighting in the reading space. This is a huge departure from library.
And yes, sorry, and she was talking here about light conception, but here you can see in this Houston library, you do not see here so much open spaces. I mean, like, no, you have open space, quite high ceiling, but not so much glass here. Conceptions are completely different, style different, but I feel myself cozy in this environment, to which you can see this picture, because maybe wood or maybe this style, this candlelight, maybe this style is making more sense. And maybe in future, I'm dreaming in future to have library to open this in Russia, when Russia will be more better in, like, not better, say it like this, when it will be not. Someday war will end anyway, maybe after 10-20 years, who knows. And yes, I'm dreaming to have like library like this. It looks amazing, but it looks also expensive. But can you imagine in a little city like mine in forest of Russia to have such English library? I think it is crazy cool idea, because connection, books can give you connection, it is for sure. And that's what we have, that's what we are missing right now, these two nations, Americans and Russians, this connection, I feel. Yes. Yeah. Problem with me that I'm not changing my mind. I'm so stable with my opinion. Maybe it can be boring for some people, like Alex. Can you change your like play song or something, whatever you're doing? But I cannot.
During a time when reading was more of a private activity. For example, Alvar Aalto's Viipuri Library, which was actually built not too long ago in the 30s, he tried to eliminate all possible sources of distraction, creating a space with, and I quote, even indirect light, so that distracting shadows would not fall on one's open book, and so the bright light would not reflect from the white page back into one's eyes. I think the Seattle Public Library is absolutely successful in creating an attractive and engaging public realm.
No, it is.
But it makes me wonder, does it provide the kind of space for getting lost in a book? And is this even a relevant idea now, or is this just a relic of the past? And what do these reading habits say about our relationship to information and to knowledge? Winston Churchill once said, "We shape our buildings, and afterwards, our buildings shape us." Architecture is a reflection of our culture, and it's one of the most permanent ways to solidify the changes in our values. So when we see a big transformation in architecture and in the way we use space, I think it's important to examine and think about what that means for our society.
It makes sense.
These are questions that I'm trying to answer in my video series where I break down some of the ideas that I was exploring in my thesis project. And I really, really want these videos to be high quality and interesting to watch, but it's not cheap and the production cost has been coming out of my own pocket. Please share this video and help me create some buzz around it. I've also created a Patreon page for this project and my other more experimental videos. You can check it out in the link below. Lastly, I just want to say thank you for giving me this platform. I realize that being able
Yes, I think that it is. She's finishing her speech, and personally, I'm always talking that maybe books, maybe libraries can improve connections between cultures. Like in my situation, because I'm Russian, maybe that's what is giving us opportunity, libraries, to have less misunderstanding. And yes, at this moment I'm just trying to finish a Harry Potter book, and in a lot of ways I was thinking many times that reading can help me. I like example, there you can find school program what every American child, teenager is reading, and as a result I feel that for me, as for person who is trying to Americanize myself, or how I would say, to go through this process of naturalization, if I would say this, I think that these gaps in American literature or British literature, sometimes it is kind of all together. If I do not have this, as a result, I do not have this knowledge behind, or if I didn't read this, you feel gaps, and as a result, it's like feeling like, oh, something is missing there. And yes, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, to be honest, how you're reading. Maybe you're reading slowly, maybe you're reading faster than other. But the most important to continue this journey and to try to improve yourself and help to improve others. And the library ran me off sheets of my question. I put them away so the grandson will know what grandpa did in the war. And obviously that yes, it is fascinating. It's a fascinating topic, because libraries, books can connect you with generations. Example, libraries shaping our mind, and like Churchill say that buildings, at first we are making shape of building, and then shape of building making us, shaping us, something like this. I think you got it. Maybe you've heard this before. I definitely didn't. Where is this? We shape our buildings, and afterwards our buildings shape us. Yes, same with book, maybe. Books. Books shape us, and after reading Harry Potter, I will be a certified magician. End of story. Oh my gosh. Anyway, it was fun for me. It was fun for me live stream anyway, and hope that for you it was fun live stream too. It was quite short, to be honest, and I think that maybe in future I will have opportunity to do whatever I want with my dreams. And at this moment, I already, to be honest, went so far with my dreams. It is crazy. At this moment, I want to wish you to be yourself. Yes, it is an important message. Try to read more, even if it sometimes can sounds boring. I, for myself, will concentrate, of course, on studying too, and think about what can I do in TSI test, because I still do not spending as much time as I enjoy your new pajamas. Thank you. I have new pajama pants. Just I was thinking one of the thing, because I'm waiting camera and you will see my pajama, and I decided that what if I will have other pajamas? It's because sometimes I'm sitting with pajama pants. And you will see it. Anyway, thank you, Sam Smith Q. And yes, be yourself. It is my message to you. Try to read more, even sometimes, as I said, it will be boring. As for myself, I will try to do this too. And I'm hugging you, wishing to be all the best. You are enough. Yes, enough. Yeah. And as always, see you next time.